What's going on, guys? It's Rob from Heroes Avenue. If I sound sick, that's because I am sick, and that's why this videos have been a little bit slow to come out. But Darren, he's been sick for a week too. He's gonna get a video out on the Matt Reeves Batman movie, an update on that. That's coming later tonight, so stay tuned for that. But for this particular video, we are talking about Zack Snyder and the Snyder Cut. And I don't mean to beat a dead horse with this subject because you guys know my feelings on the Release the Snyder Cut movement. I am full support of it, and more so than ever after what we're going to talk about right here. So I got home a little early today, went home sick, so I started listening to Kevin Smith's Fat Man on Batman. I think it's called Fat Man Beyond now, but he has a podcast slash YouTube show that goes on. So I was watching that. I love Kevin Smith, love Mark Bernard too. I don't always agree with them on everything, but Kevin Smith, that guy is just like a legend in the fandom. So, and I love some of his movies too. But yeah, I was watching his show, and he started talking about what he heard in regards to the Snyder Cut. So he did this recent set visit. I think he went. He saw the set of episode 9, and while he was doing that, he was able to talk amongst a lot of other industry insiders, people who worked on other films, and he got to talking with a lot of people, and he saw and heard some crazy things, guys. So we already heard a lot of what was going to be in the original Snyder Cut of Justice League. We've heard about the whole Darkseid references, the Green Lantern references, but Kevin Smith goes into real specific details into where the second and third Justice League movie was going to go. And again, some of us, maybe some of you guys already pieced together where Zack Snyder was probably going with this, because Zack Snyder indeed had a clear vision. Now, some of you guys are down in our comments, who even follow us and watch our videos, that are not believers, are people who don't believe that there's a Snyder Cut. And you know, when I talk about the Snyder Cut, I'm not saying all the digital effects were done and everything like that. You go, I'm not stupid. I know none of that was completed, but there is a working cut that was screened to people, and that's kind of what us Snyder Cut fans want to see. But I don't want to get too far away from the topic. So Kevin Smith, he's talking with these guys, and he hears details about the Snyder Cut itself for Justice League 1, Justice League 2, and 3. So he says that when talking to these people that he saw specifically, Kevin Smith saw Jim Lee storyboards for all 3 Justice League movies. And I said all 3 because originally there was going to be 3 Justice League movies. So he saw Jim Lee storyboards for Justice League 2 and 3. And in talking with the people who were working on Justice League 1, they kind of talk about how it was such a different movie than Justice League. And funny enough, Kevin Smith had never heard of the Justice League phrase before, and he was super surprised about that. But yeah, all of us were calling it, or a lot of us were calling it, Justice League in the beginning once he took over, or once we saw the movie. But he says that big differences in the first movie from the Snyder Cut. It was going to end with a revelation that Darkseid existed, that there was this bigger looming threat out there in the universe. We've all heard that before. So a boom tube opens up, takes Steppenwolf away, and they see Darkseid. So they know that there's this big fight to come. And also, one of the people he talked to revealed that Green Lanterns indeed were in the movie, and it was Alfred who had seen the Green Lanterns. So a guy who's working on the set of Justice League, he says that they had green lights shining on Alfred in that scene where he supposedly meets Superman. So if you guys saw the deleted scene of Justice League where Superman comes into the Batcave and Alfred says something in line with, "Hey, thank God you're here. Let's hope you're not too late." Apparently, the original scene of that was Alfred talking to a Green Lantern because they had green lights shining on him. So people who originally theorized that were actually correct, because there were some people who were theorizing that it would be a Green Lantern. It's crazy, right? So Green Lanterns were going to be in Justice League outside of the history lesson scene. Okay, there's some big changes to that. And Justice League 2, was going to go cosmic, according to Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith and his conversations with these guys on the studio lot that he was at. He says that it was going cosmic, it goes into space, and it was going to be almost like an Empire Strikes Back or like an Infinity War in which the heroes lose the battle. They go out, fight the forces of Apocalypse, lose a fight with Darkseid, and it was going to end on a tragic note, or it was going to end catastrophically for our heroes. And in Justice League 3, that's where Zack Snyder ties in that flashback scene from Batman v Superman, in which the Flash went back in time to warn Bruce to warn Bruce with that famous scene where he says Lois is the key or something like that, and then we see that injustice looking scene. So that was actually going to be paid off. When I was in the theaters, I was blown away by the scope of what I saw in Batman vs Superman. When I saw that flashback scene with the Flash, I know a lot of people were dumbfounded, including me, of what everything meant, but just know Zack Snyder was going to pay that off, and we were going to get Justice League taking the Justice League taking their last stand against Darkseid in a kind of alternate dimension, or a dimension in which Darkseid conquers the Earth. So it was going to look like that scene, that nightmare scene that Bruce had, and that was going to be in the third movie of Justice League. And this is pretty insane, guys. Now I know I don't mean to bring you guys down with this news, because of course, you know, it's part of me gets a little bit sad when I hear stuff like this, when I hear Kevin Smith talk about how the people he talked to on those studio lots say the movie was on some epic shit, and it was so much better than what we actually got on screen. So Zack Snyder, he had this full fleshed out idea, and he got it taken away with him just like that. When you hear this stuff, you start to like the Justice League that we got a little bit less. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was all right, but man, it's funny, one of the things they say on here was like, you know, it's funny because Kevin Smith I don't think he liked Justice League, and I know Mark Bernard didn't like Justice League, and they say that Marvel is kind of pop, and this Justice League version we would have got was totally metal. That is the perfect reference for, the two different dynamics going on with both Marvel and DC, at least at the time. We know DC's heading in kind of a different direction now, and especially with the success of Aquaman. So it's just, I just want to let you guys know about that. What do you guys think about these plans for Justice League 2 and 3? Do you think that these two movies that were unreleased, had they had been released, would they have been critically received better than what we've already gotten, or would it be two more movies that get critically destroyed? Because that's exactly what happened to Batman v Superman, and I think it was very unfair that critics were so harsh on that movie. But that's my opinion. Everyone has their own opinions, and that's cool. And let me know what you guys think, because I think that this storyline that we would have gotten sounds incredibly epic. We were gonna get the Green Lanterns. We were gonna get Darkseid. We were gonna get, we were definitely gonna get some huge losses in the movie, I imagine. It's not said in this conversation with Kevin Smith here, but I imagine that he was really planning on killing off Batman. And Zack Snyder's original, from what we heard, he had originally planned like 5 or 6 movies, and that was going to be it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of that. So it is a little depressing that we didn't get a full vision from Zack Snyder, and that Zack Snyder was treated the way he was while working on this movie. He was kind of hand-tied or handcuffed while making these movies. But the good news is, there is some good news, not in regards to the Snyder Cut, but in regards to our man Zack Snyder himself. He is back to directing. So that news broke yesterday, and the Hollywood Reporter broke the news that Zack Snyder is returning to movies with a zombie action pick, Army of the Dead. Now, just quickly, talking about this article, my favorite quote from it is Zack Snyder saying, "No one's ever let me completely loose." And I think that's what he's going to be able to do with this movie, and it's going to be on Netflix, of all things. So with that quote, he kind of like, it looks like he's throwing a little bit of shade towards WB, because he's been posting a lot of subtle hints that they were trying to change his movie while he was filming it, the Justice League movies, I mean. But Yes, Zack Snyder is back. It's good to see him, you know, obviously coming back from a tragedy that happened with his daughter. So I'm glad to see that he's back. He's back to doing a zombie movie. He's kind of going full circle, since that's the kind of movie that that was kind of like his breakout movie when he did I'm blanking here. I forgot what the Dawn of the Dead. Yes, Dawn of the Dead. When he did that, he's reuniting with the producer who actually gave him his first shot at a big Hollywood movie. So I'm really glad to hear Zack Snyder's back. You know, I'm glad to hear that. Well, Netflix is taking a risk with this. They purchased the rights from Warner Brothers to make this movie. Apparently, this movie was in production, or it's been a project that's been like 9 or 10 years in the making, but only now is it getting made, and Zack Snyder sounds incredibly excited for this movie. So that's not superhero related, so we're not going to talk too much about that, but I just want to let you guys know Zack Snyder is going to be back soon, so I'm happy to hear about that. Let me know what you guys think about Zack Snyder, but that's it for this video, guys. Just want to let you know about this Kevin Smith show in which he talked to people who are working on Justice League. So let me know what you guys think about that. Stay tuned for Darren's video later tonight. It's going to talk about the Batman movie, Batman updates that recently came out. So again, guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment in the comment box down below, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.